Hey, this is Matthew, and welcome back to Nerd News Today. And this week on the channel, we are continuing to take a look at Jazzware's AEW action figures. I've been watching AEW since day one. I've been a big fan of it. That's not to say they haven't made a few fumbles along the way, but hey, who doesn't? But I gotta tell you guys, I'm a big fan of the wrestling figures. I hate how difficult they've been to track down, but when I can get them, I'm a huge fan of them. And today we've got two characters who I am very much looking forward to. We've got today Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega. Now, these two guys are actually in two different series. Kenny Omega here is from Series 4, and Hangman Adam Page is from Series 5 of the line. But why am I reviewing them together? Well, these essentially represent the outfits that they more or less wore when they were tag team champions. Why not put these guys together? Because really, they're meant to be that way. And quite honestly, I think I could easily do a separate review for each of them because these are probably my favorite outfits that they've worn so far in the company. But we'll save that for another day because I'm sure they're going to have a lot more figures of both these guys. So yeah, I figured why not put them together and make them into the tag team that they're supposed to be. So before we take a closer look at them out of the box, let's go ahead and talk about these packages here. And the boxes are, of course, as nice as always. All of the AEW figures come packaged in this black and gold display. Really stunning. I really like how the gold pops out on the figures and makes them look really shiny. Kind of reminds you a little bit of the Jakks Pacific Classic Superstars, in fact, and how Jakks used to make their figures, but not nearly as bulky because those boxes were enormous and I honestly hated them. Yes, they looked really cool, but they took up so much shelf space they weren't worth it. These figures are kind of in size also with the Mattel figures boxes, so that's pretty good there. I like that they're close enough in scale and they're not going to be towering over each other if you leave them on a shelf somewhere together. We've got big window displays, as you can see on each of them, so you can get a nice good glimpse into what's inside the packaging. And a really nice picture of each wrestler too. On one side of the box, each figure is numbered because this is a long-running series and they're actually numbering them. Kenny Omega is number 28, and this version of Adam Page is number 40. And the back of the box has another really great image of the wrestlers from the night that they're actually wearing these outfits, along with a fake signature of each guy. And one of the things I love the most about AEW figures is that they specifically tell you what event these figures are from. And incidentally, both these figures are from an AEW All Out event, but they're not from the same event. Kenny Omega is from August 31st, 2019 in Chicago, Illinois, and Hangman Adam Page is from a year later, September 5th, 2020, for that edition of All Out. So this Kenny Omega represents the All Out match he had with Pac in 2019, whereas this version of Adam Page represents when they were in fact tag team champions, and they lost them to Cash Wheeler and Dax Hardwood FTR. Who, by the way, I'm also really looking forward to getting their figures because I've passed up the few times they've made figures of the Revival back in WWE, and I'm really excited to get some really great FTR figures. I'm hoping those come with satin jackets, maybe the tag belts as well, but hey, we'll deal with that when those come. So for now, let's go ahead and take a closer look at these two figures and get them out of the box and into the ring. All right, here is our Kenny Omega and our Hangman Adam Page out of the box, and I decided to leave this on like I've been doing all week to show you guys that this figure, this Adam Page figure, has a little bit of that plastic stuff we've seen in a few other figures. Omega does not have that, surprisingly, but Adam Page does, so I'm going to show you guys again. The best way to get that little wrapping off, easiest way to do it, is to go ahead and just pull them right off, and look at that. You can even see some of the pieces already we're going to take a look at, including that belt right there. We'll come back to that in a few minutes, though. But yeah, it's as easy as that. And you don't need to take it off that way. I've just found that it's fun to do that, especially on camera, to scare people who have no idea what's about to happen. So let's go ahead and jump into things, and let's start with the likenesses first and foremost. So this is actually the second version we've gotten of Hangman Adam Page and the second version of Kenny Omega. Well, technically it's actually his third figure because he had an exclusive that came with the authentic scale ring, which is like the ring we're using today, except not, because this is the WWE version. I haven't bought the AEW one yet, and who knows if I will, but here is the other version of Kenny Omega that's come out previously, just so you guys can kind of compare how the head sculpts look. The other Adam Page I do have, but that one I have in box, and that was autographed. But hey, I've got it with me, so you guys can take a look at that too and see what the head looks like. Now, as far as Kenny Omega heads go, I would have to say that they're both pretty good looking, actually. I think just the biggest difference is the paint is a lot better on this version. And I should add that this is AEW Unrivaled Series 1 Omega, and this is version 1.0, not version 1B, the repaint with the darker skin. This is how pale he looks in comparison, so man, it's like, wow, that's pretty bad actually. Now seeing them side by side, that's really pretty disgustingly bright. Paint job wise, they've come already a pretty far distance between those two lines. So yeah, much better paint job on this face of Kenny Omega. The hair is just insanely better too. They've really spent a lot more time on his hair. Looks great. The detail on his beard also looks good. Eyes are looking good. Just a very good head sculpt. Looks just like him. They've really captured his facial expression too. Now as for Adam Page, well, he's got this bandana on him, and truth be told, when I got the figure, I was actually concerned. I was like, does it come off? Does it not? And, I wasn't too sure because I think a lot of the 3D renderings we saw didn't actually show him without that mask on. We just knew it came with a mask. So I didn't really know what to do about it until I realized, well, yeah, it's an AEW figure, so it does in fact come off. You just got to pop the head off to get it out. Just like that. Bandana is a separate piece there, which, by the way, has great detail also. I love how much detail's on this bandana. That is amazing looking. But yeah, we pop that off. We can go ahead now and just put the head back on. And there we go. So that's how he looks with that bandana off of his face. And that counts as one of his accessories, by the way, folks. So as far as faces go, I think it looks pretty good, actually. I don't know which one I prefer, if I prefer a Series 2 Hangman or if I prefer this version. I think they're both pretty similar, other than the fact that Series 2 has him yelling. This one is him just looking more stoic. But I think they both look good. They're not necessarily my favorite head sculpts either, though, to be completely honest. Like, I think the Omega is a lot better looking. This Hangman Adam Page, maybe it's that his eyes are too big. Maybe it's the beard that's kind of throwing off and it's painted a little too thick, perhaps, even though it's accurate. I think, you know, really comparing the two, then you can kind of see, like, there's much more time spent on the detail and the paint in Kenny Omega's hair versus what's going on in Adam Page's hair. So it looks good. It looks good to me, actually. It's fine enough for a wrestling toy. Not a perfect 10. Closer to like a 7 out of 10, maybe an 8 at best. Whereas I'd put Omega closer to the 10 scale. So the outfits, as I mentioned, are looking pretty good. We know already what they come from, so we have a great point to compare them to. And I did that already, and I'd say they're pretty darn close to me. I mean, I think they look really good across the board, top to bottom. I gotta tell you, Omega's was the one I wanted the most, because I remember seeing him first wear this design on TV, and I was like, man, that is the toy I want of him, because look at that. It looks so good. So much great detail in there. It's like kind of like Iron Man-y, Avengers looking pants to me. That's kind of my thoughts. And same thing with this version of Adam Page. Like, this is him doing the long tights now. And I like the long tights a lot. I think it's a good look for him. And yeah, all looks really great. I like, especially like the fringe on his legs here too. That's something new. That's part of the Hangman Adam Page figures. I like the belt. I like the vest also. So a lot of good stuff here. And yeah, they both come with the vest, by the way, which I think now we can go ahead and take those off. What do you say? Let's try and get these vests off these guys and take a better look at them without it, and kind of get more into their articulation. And their vests are rubber, but they're soft enough that you can get them off, and I don't even think you need to take off their hands to do that. No, yeah, not at all. In the past, I mentioned you should take their hands off before you remove the rubber pieces, but in this case, they're both, I think, just fine. They don't need to do that. Like, they're both coming off really easily. Here we go. Let's go ahead and slide that down. Yeah, that's fine. Both comes off, no problem. And you guys already also saw that the belt does come off. I already showed you guys how that looks. I'm going to leave it on for now, just because I think it kind of looks nice this way, though. So let's talk about articulation also, and I think that's like a really big major point of these guys, especially because, you know, as you saw, Omega was packaged doing his goodbye and goodnight style pose right there, which, man, that looks so good. This is perfect. That's the perfect Kenny Omega look that I want in a toy. Perfect looking pose. That's just like excellent. Like, I'm a big Kenny Omega fan. He's probably like one of my favorites in AEW. I'm looking forward to getting a good version of him as a figure. I think this definitely hits a lot of those high points I'm looking for in a Kenny Omega. And same thing with Adam Page too. I think, you know, the outfit looks good. Great detail across the board on him as well. I love the designs going down his tights. I love that he's got the design on his boots as well. I like their entrance vests. And I also like that Adam comes with a few other accessories too. Like, you know, as we mentioned, he's got the bandana. He also has another hand so that he can do the V-trigger finger as well. I don't really know how else to call it, but he's got that hand as well, which he could swap out into. But most importantly, the accessory that I think all of us like the most is that he comes with, he's got himself a little shot glass, and he's got himself a pitcher to get himself a drink, because this is during the time when they were doing the whole alcoholic angle, which they're kind of still doing right now, actually. It's kind of weird, but yeah, he's got his pitcher and he's got his shot glass. Those are really good accessories. I know it's a weird thing to say, but yeah, I like those, and especially if you have a little bit of the bubbly set, that'll go great with those. And in terms of accessories, what does Kenny Omega have? Well, he's just got a pair of extra hands. That's it, which is good, though, because these hands are great for posing, but you're going to need something else besides that. So there are those hands for gripping stuff and for just general wrestling. Now, I'm going to go ahead and bring in a few other figures to compare them with some other characters. And let's try a few other AEW guys also, just to see how they look. So let me go ahead and bring in Jon Moxley. And that's how he looks. He's a little bit taller, in fact, than Kenny Omega. Let's bring in a little bit of the bubbly Chris Jericho next to Adam Page. And again, this is the earlier paint jobs. You could see that, man, they have come a long way in the span of like a year, less than a year has it been? Because, man, that color on Chris Jericho is just, yikes, that hurts my eyes to look at. That is so, so bright. But that's how they look right there, all sized up, side by side. I'll actually turn them so you can get a little bit more of an accurate look with the heights. There you go with those guys. Let's try a few Mattel figures as well. Here's a Mattel Scott Hall, and here's a big dog Roman Reigns. Everybody scales up nicely, as they should. Everybody's looking good. Solid lineup. Well, let's do something that I really want to do with these figures, and I've been doing it with basically all the tag teams we looked at this week, and that's try on some gold. So these are the AEW World Tag Team Championship belts that came with SCU, that came with Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian, who we looked at earlier this week. So let's see how these guys look holding those titles. That's Hangman having it around his shoulder. Let's put this belt on Kenny and see how long it takes to strap on, because that's been my big test for these figures. And as I finish that sentence, There you go. The belt is on Kenny Omega. So there you go. Wow, look at that. There you go. Look at those two guys. Man, side by side, they look great with the belts on. You really got to get those AEW tag belts with SCU. They're totally worth it. And by the way, since as we're doing this, Kenny Omega is the AEW World Champion, well, let's just put some more gold on him. Why not? I'm a big enough Kenny Omega mark. I'm willing to do that. I'm going to take that risk. And there you go. That's how they look with all the gold on them. Man, those look good. I love those AEW Championship belts. They look so great in figure form. So final thoughts on Series 4 Kenny Omega and Series 5 Adam Page. I do think you got to get them both because they are meant to represent this time period where they are both tag team champions. And I think they're both very good versions of their figures. You know, and I think this is my preferred version of Kenny Omega so far. He's got a great outfit, great head sculpt. Love the hands that he's got as well for him. Like the Omega to me is pretty iconic. It's a version I like a lot of him, in fact. And I think the Adam Page is actually a much better version than what we got with Series 2. But Series 2 is also a very good figure because it had the lasso, it had the full look as well there. He had the vest, he had the bandana. Both head sculpts to me are still not great. They're kind of like on that level with Cody Rhodes where it's like they're good, but they could be better. Whereas I think Kenny Omega, this is like pretty much knocked out, perfect head sculpt. Adam Page still lacking a little bit in that department. But I don't think we're going to get new head sculpts for a while with either of those guys. So, you know, get what you can while you can get them. It could be another full year before we get different head sculpts of any of these guys here. I think this version of Adam Page is also worth getting because it comes with the shot glass and the pitcher. Those are two pretty great accessories. I know it's, again, really kind of a little funny thing to have with him, but those are great accessories to have. You know, overall, these are both really good figures. I highly recommend both of them. And if you want to get these figures, you can go ahead and visit Ringside Collectibles. You can check out Target and stores if you can find them there on a shelf somewhere. Good luck to you if you do. You can find them online and possibly in stores as well at GameStop. And by the way, while they don't currently carry AEW figures, Big Bad Toy Store does carry some other wrestling figures. I was surprised to learn this recently. You can even get some WWE Mattel Ultimates and Elites from their website. So make sure to visit Big Bad Toy Store also. I've got a link for them in the description below. But overall, yeah, I think these are great figures. I think these are worth getting. There will be an influx, I'm sure, at some point later this year of more Kenny Omegas and a lot more Adam Pages. You won't have a shortage of them. But will they be better? Will they be worse? Tough to say, but I think for what these are two of the better ones of these guys so far. I think they'll be tough to beat. And at some point, I know we will get a Kenny Omega actually with that championship belt. That'll probably be a good one worth getting to, but for the time being, I'm just as fine with this because I love this outfit on him. So for my money, these two figures, great additions to your roster. Recommend both of them. So until next time, I'm Matthew. This has been Nerd News Today. Goodbye and good night.